We are approaching the end of another year, and oftentimes the end of the year is met with mixed emotions. You had so many plans for this year, and as we're approaching the final days of this year, you realize that you haven't checked off as many boxes as you would like. And I'm sure you're wanting next year to be better than this year, and that's going to start with how you create your goals. Oh, honey, I hope you're ready for this episode. If you are, you're definitely going to need your pen, a Post-it, your ambition planner, and let's go. Hello, Ambition Babes. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion, also known as the Face of Ambition, across all social media platforms, including Spotify or wherever you stream your podcasts. I'm so glad that you have found this video, honey, because I help women who are 40 years and older that are ready to reinvent themselves, that are on a glow up journey, that know they want to become more, but don't know where to start. And do not worry, honey, if you're not over 40, please don't click off of this video. Just consider me your digital bestie that is wanting to put you on so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I've made. And one area that I have made a lot of mistakes in is in goal creation. I literally thought I could make a list of all the goals that I wanted to accomplish and maybe put some measurables against it, and I was going to actually be able to do it. So I would look at my year and be like, this year I want to be able to lose weight. I want to have a baby. I want to get married. I want to buy a house. I want to get out of debt. I want to whatever it is that I said I wanted to do. And then I had actually no plan of action to get there. So honey, today I am so excited about this video because we're going to talk about how to actually create your goals. I am so excited about this video because I'm actually breaking it up into two parts. This is going to be my first two-part series, and I feel as if it is so important because I'm going to give you exactly what you need to do to reach every single one of your goals in 2025. And so because I don't want to overwhelm you, I'm going to break this video up into two parts. The first part is going to be how to create your goals, specifically your 90-day goals. While the second part of this video are the action steps that you need to take in order to realize your goals and how to show up consistently every single day. So if for any reason you're watching these videos out of order, you're going to want to make sure you identify which one is part one and which one is part two. And so honey, I'm ready to get started. So the very first step in creating your 90-day goals is to identify what you want. What do you want, honey? What do you want to achieve? What is your vision, your passion? What drives you? What is it that you would be ridiculously proud of yourself for achieving in 2025? Traditionally, I find that individuals break down their goals into 5 areas: personal, career, health, finances, and relationships. These are the 5 pillars in which most of our goals lie. You want to get married this year. You want to have a baby. You want to have a better relationship with your mom, your sister, your partner, or your best friend. So you really want to focus in on your relationship goals. Maybe it is that you want to start that side hustle. You're ready to start your business. You've been sleeping on it for way too long. And this is the year that you have promised yourself that you're going to start. Maybe it is that you're ready to lose weight. Maybe it is that you want to become more active. You want to work out consistently. You want to start eating differently. You want to be proud of the body and the temple that God has entrusted you with. I know that right now you may feel as if your goals are all over the place, but consider writing these 5 areas on the top of a piece of paper and identifying the goals that you have in each of these sections. What I'm essentially asking you to do is a brain dump. Write down all of the things that you would like to be able to achieve in these areas. Once you have completely emptied your brain of absolutely everything that you want to achieve in these 5 areas, you're going to start to see some crossover. You're going to start seeing that your finances are related to your career goals. You're also going to see that maybe some of your personal goals are related to your health goals. This is going to give you the opportunity to take that huge brain dump and start whittling it down to just a few goals that you want to achieve. So I know that you may be looking at your paper right now and you have a lot of goals that you want to achieve, but I'm going to challenge you to identify only 4 goals to achieve in the next 90 days. And honestly, that's a maximum of 4. If you only identify 1, 2, or 3 goals that you want to achieve in the next 90 days, honestly, that's actually better. Because here's the deal. A goal is something that is not supposed to occupy your life. It is supposed to add value to your life. I want you to identify the 1 to 4 goals that would make you ridiculously, absolutely absurdly proud of yourself over the next 12 weeks, because I'm challenging you to reach those goals over the next 90 days. I'm going to break down the 90-day method in detail a little later on in this video, but right now I want you to take time and write out exactly what it is that you want to do. Without clarity, there is absolutely no way that you can operate with intention. So in order to get clearer on your goals, the second step that I'm going to break down is the SMART goal methodology. This is the opportunity to take your vague goal, like I want to lose weight in 2025, and create it using the SMART goal method to make it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Before I created this video, I probably should have researched research to create the SMART goal method, but I use it in absolutely everything that I create because the method works. For any of you who own an ambition planner, within the first few pages of your planner, I have written out exactly what the SMART goal methodology looks like. And if you don't own an ambition planner, don't worry. Click the link in my description and you can download your free 5-day planner and follow along with everything that I'm going to explain today. So the SMART goal methodology is broken down by letter. The S in SMART is for specific. And when I say specific, I mean I want you to get into the details. What will you accomplish? Who is affected by your success? Who will hold you accountable? What exactly do you want your outcomes to be? And all of the other details of this goal. Will it be on a website? Will you need a partner to do it? Will it require a launch? Will you need some new running shoes? Will you need an accountant? Are you going to start online dating? Get specific about whatever it is that your goal is and use the S in the SMART goal methodology in order to make sure that your goal is not vague. The M stands for measurable. This actually may be my favorite step in the whole process. And I understand that the M is the second step in this process, but honestly, it should be the last. Because measuring your goal determines if it was actually successful. What quantifiable criteria will you use to identify if you actually reach that goal or not? If your goal is to create new financial habits, how then will you actually measure if you've actually made it a habit or if you're just going through the motions until the 90 days is over? Measuring your success is absolutely an amazing way to identify how quickly, how slowly, or identify adjustments that you need to make whenever you're working towards your goals. I know that there are tons of individuals that speak against stepping on the scale every day, and I totally understand how it can become a toxic trait. But stepping on the scale every day, once a week, or once a month allows you to be able to see where you started and where you are along your weight loss journey. Think about the idea of watching a football game and no one is keeping score. You know the red team is in the end zone, or you know the blue team just went into the end zone, but no one's actually keeping up with who's winning. We all want to know who's winning. That's the first thing that somebody says that came to the party late. They walk in the living room and they're like, what's the score? We want to be able to keep score. Measuring your success is a way to be able to keep score on where you started and where you are along your process. Inside of your ambition planner or on the free downloadable that you're going to use, there is a section in there for you to write out every single week what went well, what went wrong, and the things that you need to change. This is a practice that I sit and take time and do at least 15 minutes at the start of every week. If I'm not constantly recalibrating my goals, I'm going to stick on the same trajectory and I may not ever get there. That is why it is so important for you to actually know exactly what it is that you want to work on, the action steps to get there, measuring your success, and the areas in which you're not quite measuring up. Being able to use this journaling section and to be able to identify the fact that maybe you've not worked on your goals at all this week is a sobering reality that snaps you into saying, listen, I only have 12 weeks before I say I'm going to reach this goal, and I just wasted one. So that means I need to double down on this week, and now you can change your action plan to know exactly what it is that you need to do. The M in the SMART goal methodology is probably one of the most important and oftentimes the one that is overlooked. The A is for achievable or attainable, but because I didn't actually create the SMART goal methodology, I can't change the A that they decided to use, because if I created it, the A would stand for action plan. When you look at whether a goal is attainable or achievable, you're going to answer a question. The question is, can you reach this goal? Is it attainable? Is it achievable? If the answer is yes, I'm going to want you to prove it to me. And the way that you prove it to me is through your action plan. The action plan is the itemized actions that you're going to take over the next 12 weeks in order to reach that goal. I use this example all the time because most of us can relate. If your goal is to lose 15 pounds over the next 3 months, that's a fantastic goal. You're going to feel absolutely amazing whenever you drop those 15 pounds. But when you think about 15 pounds, you're like, girl, I ain't never lost 15 pounds before. That's a hefty number. However, when you start putting action items to that very specific goal, you're able to start saying, okay, that means I need to lose 5 pounds a month. When you start thinking about 5 pounds a month, you're like, okay, I can do that. That means I need to lose 1 pound point ... ounces every single week. Now you're starting to break down this larger goal and it's actually becoming achievable. Now you're able to answer the question of, is it achievable or attainable, with a resounding yes, because now you have an action plan to get there. Losing 1.5 pounds every single week is going to require you being hyper-focused on your meals and your exercise. So now that you know you need to lose 1.5 pounds every single week in order to lose 5 pounds a month, in order to lose 15 pounds in 3 months, you're starting to develop an action plan that makes you excited about working towards this goal. You're starting to look at your meal preps, how many steps you're going to walk, how often you're going to show up at the gym, if you're finally going to pull the trigger on joining that new Pilates or spin class. Now that you have a specific goal, you know exactly how you're going to measure it, and you've identified that it is attainable, you are starting to develop the keys that it's going to take to be able to realize absolutely any goal that you set in your life. The R in the SMART goal method is it relevant? This is basically asking yourself why. Why do you want to reach this goal? Why is it important? Why is now the time? Why is it that you've not reached this goal in the past? There are times that we create goals and they're actually not relevant to anything that we want to achieve. But it just seems like the season where everybody's buying a house, so we start making that our financial goal. But it's not actually relevant to anything that we want to achieve. It's not even the best time to even think about buying a house. My husband and I just recently moved to Savannah, and so buying a house is on the top of mind. And although we really love Savannah, we're not quite sure how long we're going to live here. But it seems as if everybody is buying houses right now. I've always lived in a single family home, so it feels very natural to me to feel as if I'm ready to buy a home. But when I look at my goals and I identify the things that I want to be able to achieve, that may not be a relevant goal for me in these first 90 days. What is relevant to me is to work on reducing my debt so I can go ahead and get this 800 credit score. Identify the relevancy in your goals as you're selecting them. That is why when you do this brain dump method, you may have 25 goals on that paper. But when you start really looking at the fact that this one really isn't relevant to what I honestly want to achieve over the next 90 days, you can either postpone that goal for another quarter or just eliminate it altogether. And lastly, you had the T in the SMART goal method, which is timely. What are the milestones that you're going to work on? Is this even the right time to start working on this goal? When do you want to complete it by? When are you going to start? There are so many variables that we tend to leave out whenever it comes to reaching our goals that are actually the stumbling block that causes us to fail. When there are 365 days in a year, you could honestly choose any one of the 52 Mondays to start. But when you say that I'm starting January 6th on this goal, and I'm going to be finished within 90 days of January 6th, now you have a definitive start date and end date that allows you to be able to stay hyper-focused on when you actually want to be finished with that goal. We should not be working on goals forever. I have been very transparent about my weight loss journey. And although I am extremely proud of myself for losing 70 pounds, it was not timely. It took me a very long time to get to this point. I lost 5 pounds. I gained 15. I lost a few ounces. And then at one point, I just stayed the same weight for almost 2 years. When you start setting short-term, realistic goals that has a start date and a finish date with milestones in between, you are 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more likely to be able to stick to that goal and see it through. And so I've mentioned a little bit about the 90-day method. And if you're not aware, I'm absolutely obsessed with this methodology because it works. To everything, there is a season. And the 90-day method is just an amazing way to be able to work on a specific goal during a certain season of your life. Whenever you even consider the way that God created the seasons on earth, they're almost perfectly broken up into 90-day periods. You have the winter months, you have spring, you have summer, and you have autumn. In those 12 weeks, so much of our environment, the weather, our mood, and the holidays change. And so why shouldn't your goals follow that same progression of life? Breaking your goals down into 90 days or 12 weeks just makes it far more predictable. None of us can tell the future, but it is far easier to be able to outline what's going to happen in 12 weeks as opposed to what's going to happen in 52. You are just far more likely to stay consistent with any habits or goals that you're creating whenever it's in a short period of time. Whenever you try to spread out your goals or your habits over the next 365 days, you start losing focus, you have too much time to start and stop, and it just starts wearing you thin. I've tried to create annual goals, and I honestly just forget what I said I was going to do. Every January 1st, I would sit down and I create my vision board, and I would put out all these things that I wanted to be able to accomplish and manifest. I wanted to be able to travel here, move there, and experience this. And although there is absolutely nothing wrong with dreaming big, I want to challenge you to dream big in a 90-day period. I want you to say, in these next 12 weeks, I'm going to Rome. I'm saving an additional $1,000 every month out of my check. I'm going to actually start writing the business plan for that business or that nonprofit that has been burning a hole in my belly and keeping me up at night. I'm going to be intentional about getting therapy and working on my personal goals and my relationships. I want you to dream big. I want you to envision those abs. I want you to get the car. I want you to have the family relationships. I want you to have everything that your heart desires. But let's just keep it real, sis. Giving yourself 365 days to be able to realize that goal just reduces the probability of it actually happening. And so what I want you to do is with your 1 to 4 goals that you've created, you're going to use the SMART goal methodology to make sure that they're specific and measurable and obtainable and relevant and all those good things. And then you're going to plan out that goal over the next 12 weeks. The next 90 days is just long enough to make meaningful progress and a short enough time to stay motivated. Oh yes, motivation is fleeting. We're going to end this video and you're going to be hot and heavy on being able to reach your goals. But as soon as you click off and reality hits and you start checking your emails and looking at the things you need to do, you're going to start to feel like this this is mostly a fantasy and not actually something that you can really do. It happens. That's just reality. So that's why I want to encourage you to reduce the amount of goals that you want to be able to achieve even over the next 90 days. There is no shame in saying, I just have one goal this quarter. It may be to make more money, to lose weight, to work on your finances, to work on your relationships, grow personally, or maybe it doesn't fall in the 5 pillars that I mentioned. But you know exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. And don't allow social media or anything else that anyone says deter you from the things that you want to be able to accomplish. I promise you that the 90-day method absolutely works. Taking this idea of exactly what you want to be able to achieve and breaking it down into action items over the next 12 weeks will be able to help you to realize your most ambitious goals before you know it. It helps you to be able to focus on weekly or daily tasks or habits that start to be able to empower you, that start giving you the legs and the motivation that you need to take your goals to the next level. Perhaps you could even consider this first 90 days of just deciding on 1 or 2 goals that you want to achieve. Realizing those 1 or 2 goals gives you the ammunition that you need to be able to go to the next 90 days, saying that you're going to load up with 3 or 4 goals that you want to accomplish. Oh, honey, I told you that this was going to be broken down into 2 parts for a reason. Because in part 2, I'm about to break down how to create the action plan that is going to be able to help you to realize those goals over the next 90 days. But there was absolutely no way that I was going to have time to break them down both in the same video. So I hope that you take the opportunity to do the homework in part 1 of this video before you move on to part 2. I'm going to give you everything I know about building a business, reaching your weight loss goals, creating better relationships and improving your finances, and an actionable step that you're going to actually be able to reach. 2025 has got to be different than this year. You've tried it the traditional way. And how's that worked out for you? It's time to try something new. It's time to step out of that same old box and stop doing the same old thing, the same old way you've always done it. You're ready to reinvent yourself. You're ready to glow up. You're ready to become the woman of your dreams. Let's work on creating realistic goals and an action plan together that are going to help you to become absolutely unrecognizable. I hope that you have enjoyed part 1 of this video, honey. If you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you take time and do so. And also make sure that you follow me over on Instagram, TikTok, and follow our podcast on Spotify or wherever you stream your podcasts. Until our next video, I pray that you are well and that you're doing something every single day to reach your most ambitious goals.